I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Ben and Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and Charles shall lead them. You guys happy about the commercial? The return of the burn, as they say. All right, guys. We are back with another Alliance show. All you got to do, dear listener, patreon.com. You get in for $1. You get all the behind-the-scene thingamajiggamajiggamajiggies. Yesterday, we saw really a classic. We all got to experience, what do you call that? What was the name of that? Goodfellas. I got to see all my rapper time growing up in high school when we were talking about being mobsters, and it was all lines from Goodfellas I just discovered yesterday. But anyway, what's up, Shane Brown? Good to see you, baby. Accidentally joined the live chat. Good to see you. All right, guys, here we go. This is a Patreon alliance. As I said, you go in for $1. It's really legit. Here we go. Intro to song numero uno. I don't know if this is right. It's our wake, or maybe somebody just meant to say wake and then they put the wrong thingamajiggies there. Go get your mother shine box. Yeah. Our Wake is a doom sludge band from Little Rock, Arkansas, that has been around since the late 90s. This song is from their 6th studio album, released just this year, of the same name. This pick comes to us from a fella named Prog Pro. What's up, Prog Pro? Never heard of you, baby, but today's your day. You are now front and center. All right, guys, here we go. Our Wake, The Return of Magic. This is Prog Pro's song. Let's check it out. You guys sit back and relax. This one's going to be a little bit, apparently. Here we go. Timestamp is 6 minutes flat, my boy. 6 minutes flat. All right, guys, here we go. She is actually, call me later. Take care of her folks, but I'll give you more details later. All right, here we go, guys. Song numero uno is Our Wake. Where's Our Wake? The Return of Magic. Let's do it. Are you guys hearing that? All right. Let's try that again. Let's try that again, shall we? sit there for a second, dear listener. All right, that was our first band from the great state of, I was going to say Mississippi for some reason. The great state of Arkansas. Arkansas. A lot of places, a lot of things we could say. Hold on, let me see here. Boom. Okay, all right. So lyrically, this song kind of caught me. I'm not gonna say by surprise. I don't know if it's by surprise, but the way that he used words did kind of it was arresting. Let's say it that way. All right. Let's just talk about the thing instead of talking about the effect that it had on you, Vin. Nobody cares, Vin, about the effect the lyrics had on you. We just want to hear what the lyrics actually say. Bless God. My friend lost her cat, and the cat just came black. All right. The return of magic. Okay, so the first thing is I didn't really understand the concept of magic until we moved to Maine. And in Maine, you had people that'll just straight up tell you, I'm Wiccan, I'm a witch, whatever. Wicca isn't really like an old ancient, like, oh, follow the old paths or whatever. I don't really know much about that world, like actual, like the real pagan world. But I do know that I'm told that even though a lot of these, Wiccan people feel that they're like old school and the original, that the Wiccan is kind of a new thing. But anyway, it wasn't until I ran into them folks, though, that I began to see, like, hey, this is not necessarily about, like, magic per se, as in, like, hocus pocus, as much as it is in really mastering nature. And, for the most part, it was like medicine, right? Like the witch lady, she knew how the spices or whatever it is could work together to mix up to make some medicine or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, like Wicca comes from the 60s. It's kind of like a modern, it's not really like a as ancient as people up there in Maine claim that it is. But it was interesting to think about, like, hearing stories about, hey, these people were healers. They understood how the roots worked and what to take for this ailment and that ailment. But because it wasn't connected to the Christian God, those people got marginalized. I don't know, like, the reality of that story, or like how real or how much of that is just lore. But it kind of it's like one of those things where, like, you kind of have a drunk uncle, and like somebody tells you that your drunk uncle did something, and it's like, it's outrageous, and for the most part you should demand evidence. But because it's your uncle, you're like, yeah, that kind of checks out. It's kind of like that, like when I hear these stories of, like, oh, like the witch lady that lived out in the woods that understood that these roots would help you with a headache, right? So you would go, and if your kid had a horrible headache, you'd take him to the witch doctor and shit. But then you'd burn that same witch doctor at the stake because there was some sort of village plague that happened, and nobody could figure it out, and because the witch doctor didn't have the correct roots or whatever, they said that she cast a spell in the village and set her on fire until she died, right? Like, that sounds horrible and, like, so rooted in ignorance, and, like, definitely not something you could justify from the New Testament, but it definitely sounds like my people. It definitely sounds like something we would do. You know what I'm saying? So it was a very kind of rude awakening when you run into people who say they're the spiritual, or at least, like, worldview descendants of people that were burned alive. You know what I'm saying? For actually doing what God told us to do, which is to subdue the earth. And part of subduing the earth is knowing what from the earth that you can use to improve the quality of human life. That's kind of the idea. It's called the Dominion Mandate. And so I thought it was very odd to me, this whole setup where it was like, it seemed like our pagan friends had pretty much a corner market on the medicinal stuff, like the field medicine stuff. And I'm sure some of that was exaggerated, but some of it is like, it's got to be legit at some level. You know what I'm saying? Especially considering all the ignorant shit that Christians are co-signing to this day, to this moment. Anyway, tilt your head down and listen to the roots. So I took roots there to be kind of like a double entendre in the sense of like roots as in roots, you know, medicine, everything I was just talking about, but also I get the impression from listening to a lot of pagan metal, or I don't know if it's pagan metal, but metal from people who are aware that that's in their background. I get the impression that it's kind of like this was the default status of European people before Christianity, came in and infected everybody type of thing. It looked to me like they were saying our default position was this pagan nature, not even necessarily theistic sort of understanding of the world. And then you guys came in and forced Christianity on everybody. And so that would go to the understanding of like, we are the roots, right? Like this is the roots of who we were as people prior to this thing that got imposed on us. Interwoven, supported, connective, how we thrive, that would be the root system, right? So the root systems that are like underground in trees, right? And like there is a sort of community, and they actually communicate with each other. That's something I actually learned on the channel. Like these root systems actually talk and communicate. Hey, what's up, Kellen Dross, Dark Guardian, whoever you are. So like that's the thing. It's like, yo, they've got these really steady kind of history that we were here, and then Christianity came in and echoed it and ruined everything, and now it's like we're trying to get back. Interwoven, supportive, connected, how we thrive, unbroken, hungry for life. To all the witches in the wood and to all the goblins that understood, there is a spirit that walks among us, and it is living proof. So that looks to me like he's saying that in spite of the spread of these things that would come in the way of separating them from each other, they had a deeper level connection to each other, which was spiritual, and that's why they're still here. So even though they didn't have the, externalized, physicalized mechanisms in order to make religion go or make their society go or whatever you want to call it, they still had a spiritual sort of connection to each other that kept the thing alive, even where at the natural level you would not assume that it would stay alive. So that's why it looks like there's a spirit that walks among us, and it is living proof. Instants arise from the bottom to the top. Like in aversion to sulfurous, say let there be rot, right? So instead of saying let there be life or let there be light, right? It's saying let there be rot. So it's sort of like this reversal, this decreative effect that it looks like he's saying that the bad guys have. So going from bottom to top would be you're basing your religion or your worldview on something foundational, which is the roots of everything, which is one of the themes of the song, and you're trying to build upwards. But then it says, or top-down beliefs of the way that the world ought to be. It's fucking blessing you're alive with this suicidal theme. So you see right there, the bottom-up thing is the world where we get the ideas from the earth, right? It starts from the earth first, right? And then it rises up to people, right? And then people, and then you can go up to other things, but the foundation is laid there. What he's contrasting with is top-down belief systems, which are the guys at the top, they determine everything, and it's not rooted in anything, it's just the guys at the top, it's just elitism, and then they tell you down how to think, how to live, how to believe, whatever. And so it looks to me like he's presenting two different ways of living. One is a bottom-up type of living, which is like based on reality, things real and tangible, like the earth itself, and then humanity yeah, that's better. Grassroots, as controller's saying, right? So like we've got this like grassroots thing, and like literally grassroots in the sense of like literally building your worldview from the ground, literally from the earth, literally up, right? Because the earth came before us, right? And so like we occupy it, and so a bottom-up ideology is something that he's saying. It looks like he's saying it's more rooted in reality. There's a literal sense in which this worldview is rooted in reality, right? And that truth can never be expunged with religion. And so now you're being presented with a bottom-up way of looking at the world or a top-down way of looking at the world, right? And it's fascinating because what's appealing to the human mind, especially the westernized human mind, would be a bottom-up religion, right? That's something of the people. That's something where you kind of get some form of humanity being like sort of related to each other. And so this makes sense that we would think that a bottom-up religion is better for us or more in line with American ideals than a top-down religion. What's fascinating is that Christianity says we don't have to choose. So Christianity says that God is the ultimate guy at the top of the food chain in Christianity, right? So you talk top down or bottom up. When you talk about top down in the world, that sort of hierarchical way of looking at reality, a lot of people have a real problem with that because the guys at the top generally make life a living hell for the people beneath them. So we have an aversion to hierarchy. But what if the guy at the top genuinely believed that his job was to serve the people beneath him at the bottom? I think in that third way, you kind of get a Hegelian sort of solution to the problem, right? Not top-down religion where it's exclusively hierarchical. Not bottom-up religion where you kind of have to reinvent the wheel every generation then. Because you don't want anything from the top down to tell you what to do and what to be. That's all going to come from the bottom up. Well, if you have bottom-up religion, then now you've got to reinvent the wheel every generation, and you're going to make some mistakes. It's going to take you some time, right? Like when human beings decide for themselves how they're going to do things, we get things like slavery and Holocaust, and we get what's happening right now when you look at the news, where you get a guy that's comfortable saying that he's going to murder an entire civilization of people. Right? So we look at that and we go, that is what's wrong with top-down religion. That's what's wrong with a top-down ideology. So you got a guy like that, and he's got all this top-heavy power, and so now he's going to go out and kill a bunch of people. Then you look at communism. And what was communism? Communism was a bottom-up thing, right? The proletariat. We're gonna take care of the proletariat against the bourgeoisie. But what ended up happening? Millions of people died. And we're so basic. Human beings are so basic. We're like, oh, it's the economic system that's the problem. So it's a top-down economic system, called capitalism. That's a horrible look. Look at the system. You got a guy out here threatening to murder the entire planet, right? You take the complete opposite end of the spectrum and you go, let's go bottom up. Let's be of the people, for the people, and by the people. Yeah. All right. Material conditions on the ground. That's Marx, right? And then what happened? Millions of people died. And human beings are so basic. We're like, oh, we found it's the wrong economic or political philosophy. That's the issue. Well, between Marxism and capitalism, what is the only constant? Human beings. Human beings are the only constant. So it's interesting. Christianity says that top-down leadership is important because competence is important. Right? Like, we're going somewhere. We are going somewhere. And at some level, you want a group of people who have seen a little bit farther down the field, right? Have been through that rodeo before, have crossed that bridge before, right? And you want people that kind of have that so that the rest of us can kind of function in a coherent manner. You also want the bottom-up mentality, because that way you never lose your connection to the people that you're serving. I remember, like, Obama said something really interesting one time. He said by the time he became, by the time he went into like year 7 of his presidency, you know, you get 2 terms. He said he got really, really, really good at the job. And then he said, but I had spent so much time getting good at the job that I was separated from the people, which is kind of what got me in here in the first place. And so, yes, I got better at the job, technically speaking, but as far as like knowing which levers and stuff I needed to pull, I got separated from that because you can't have both at the same time. And he said, I thought this was amazingly, and this is one of the, I said, oh, this is a reason why he's successful in whatever he does. He said, it's very clear from the way that I talked about Mr. Trump that I had completely lost touch with the American people. I thought that was just a very self-aware, wise thing to say. And to me, that encapsulates the dichotomy of top-down versus bottom-up, right? When he was the bottom-up guy, he was a community organizer, it was rah-rah-rah, but being the community organizer doesn't get you into the seat. What gets you into the seat is the top-down mentality. And so it's like he was a bottom-up guy that's going for a top-down role, and he thinks he's going to bring the bottom-up mentality into the top-down role. They all think that, and then they get into the role, and then they all change their minds, like 100% of them, right? Including Mr. Trump, I believe. I believe that Mr. Trump thought he was going to do XYZ thing, and then once he got read into stuff, he's like, oh, okay. So my point is that I see in Christianity a perfect balance of top-down and bottom-up. You have the ultimate top-down guy, Jesus, the creator, right? Who's really good and competent at running the universe, but who also is really, really good at being part of the people. So much so that he joins us in the dirt and the muck and the mire, right? And so in Jesus, I get the, you know how the cross is the intersection of these 2 beams of wood? There's so many things that intersect in the person and work of Jesus, and this is one of them. Jesus finds the Hegelian dialectic to solving the problem that's in this passage, I think, namely the how do we reconcile the need for top-down competency and wisdom in sailing the ship, while at the same time, how do we maintain the bottom-up communion and the spirit as they were saying. He were talking about a spirit of unity. Okay? That's good. That's not a phrase that only belongs to the Bible. He was talking about some sort of ethereal, non-physical, incorporeal aspect of humanity that all of us share, that it's indelible, we can't put our finger on it. You have to agree with that if you're a Christian. I don't care if the pagan said it. I don't care. What he said is true. And so, I think that this has been one of the things that's always impressed me about metal, is the depth of the wrestling with these concepts. It's just mind-boggling to me the degree to which these guys are sitting. Who is Proc Pro? This is his band. It's mind-boggling to me how a bunch of dudes sit together, have these discussions, and then express these real amazing philosophical ideas that don't necessarily have clean resolutions. And putting that into music, and then being so invested in it that they're singing about it with like, it's just there really isn't another genre like metal. There really isn't. And the things that these guys have put out, it's such a weird. I'm just very proud to be a metal fan. It's just a weird thing to say coming into the community, but this is the deepest set of people. You know, I'm reading Aurelius, I'm reading some, whatever. People are impressed by their, but I just thought that it was, I could talk about this song for hours. I gotta have some discipline here. I never thought Trump thought of anything more other than campaigning for the crowd's cheering and also enriching himself and his blind loyal cronies. Yeah, I really think that he thought he was going to go and make a name for himself and really seal himself as the greatest of all time. And I think that was the goal. And now he's caught up in... I have no idea what's going on in our country, to be honest with you. This song's at 9.2. I went a little bit long on the review here, but at the same time, the song was a little bit long. You had to give it some justice, so don't be mad at me. But it just really, the dichotomy between top down and bottom up it was very, very interesting, because we're seeing it play out in the world, and I think that's I think this is one of the problems that elites have with Twitter as well, or just social media in general, is that all the little people at the bottom are on the same level as the elites. It kind of demystifies the elites. It's like, yeah, you had an egg sandwich for breakfast, bro, just like I did. You ain't really, 90% excellent. Shout out to Middle Earth. Maybe he'll make a return soon, inshallah. Alright, guys. That was song number 1. Went a little bit long. I'm sorry. It's a 9.2 for me. 9.2 for me. Alright, guys. Here we go. Song number 2. Song numero dos. Ben, timestamp is 41 even, okay? 41 even. Holy smokes. I went really long with that. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Alright, here we go. Fluistars is a post-black metal band from the Netherlands. This particular song comes to us from Nail and is off their third record, Bloem, which means flower in English. Okay, now you had a translation, Kel, and I have a paid version of AI, so I threw my translation up into my AI, and this is what came out. So don't be mad at me if it's wrong, but it looks like it matches the thingamajiggy. So don't hurt me, Kellen Dross, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. All right, here we go. Here we go, guys. Song numero dos, Mar Ruine, which basically means moon ruin. Moon Ruin is the name of this song, y'all. Let's do it now. What is this, Archero? Trombone? I'm sorry. I've never seen that before. We have to do that again. I'm sorry. He transitioned from the trumpet or the trombone to the guitar. I'm sorry. I know the rule. We're not supposed to cut the thing off. Forgive me. We got to do that again. I'm sorry. I really am. Man! I'm sorry, we gotta do that again. I'm sorry. Kelly Johnson, hey, you're my boy. You gotta forgive me. I'm sorry, we gotta do that again. That is incredible. Watch what he does with the trumpet. Alright? And then they translate it on guitar. It's beautiful. I'm sorry. Like lulls you to sleep a little bit. Oh my God, dude. It's freaking hard, bro. Yeah, Archero, it's my jam too. That was such a good song, man. Such a good song. What the previous band did with the lyrics, this band did with the freaking, um, with the musicianship, man. And they just let that joint sit because they knew, yo, this section is sweet right here, and they let that ride. And then what I loved was like they just kept it exactly where it was and just rode that part of the song, bro. Because like, you know, I still have this problem, like, because you've heard, my friend broke this down to me one time. He's like, listen, you've heard the same chord progressions, the same counts, you know, the same, especially rap, you know, 16 bars for a verse, hook, another 16 bars, hook, middle, end, right? Like, that's how it used to be. Now it's like one verse or whatever. Like, I'm not dissing. I'm just saying, like, it's making music like this is becoming more and more and more and more and more difficult. How come nobody informed me about tonight? Okay, I'm going to inform everybody. We are live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every week. Okay? We will also be, I'm also going to be doing like maybe I'll do a Middle America tonight, considering the Middle Americans are here. So maybe I'll do a Middle America tonight. If you're on the Middle America side, write out what you want us to talk about after this show. But right now we're talking about this song. I didn't really know a lot of what they were saying. It looks to me like there's some form of their religion or belief system where the fate of humanity gets settled at the moon, right? So it's like, this is a Dutchman, the ancient house on the moon where everything is determined in the white ash of the night, right? So that, it looks like in some religion that the great house, right? The ancient house on the moon. That would, it's sort of like God's kind of like palace, right? The Bible has this in Psalm 82. It has what's called a divine council scene where God is actually rebuking the other gods. I mean, he actually calls them gods. He says, I said you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you, but you will die like men and fall like any prince. So that's Psalm 82. So like, there is a, biblically speaking, a divine council where literally they get together and they deliberate on the affairs of men, and God gives them basically a performance review. And in Psalm 82, he's not happy with them, and so, you know, that's what he says. I said you're a god. You know, I said you are gods, all of you, but you'll die like men and fall like any prince. And then the psalmist says, "Arise, O Lord, judge the earth, for you will inherit the nations." There's a lot in that, but the point is that there's some correlation between this ancient house on the moon where everything is determined and God's divine counsel in Psalm chapter 82. You know, Job chapter 1 is also a divine counsel scene, right? So Daniel chapter 2 is a divine counsel scene. There's a divine counsel scene in 2 Kings. So anyway, my point is that there's a biblical kind of correlation here. A ripple in time that slowly descends. We are but a memory, an echo in the ruin of what once was. I'm doing a lot of prep for this debate I'm going to be having. And it is just very interesting who makes it in history and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's you know, Josephus is a Jewish writer. He is, you know, prepping for this debate or whatever, and he's a Jewish writer, and he's obsessed with what happened to his people in the build-up to the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. But at the same time, he's also writing a history for the Romans who have his life in their hands. And so it's just very interesting who history records, who history talks about, and who doesn't. And it's just incredible to think about all the human beings and the incredible things that all those people have done that we will never hear about. Like I think about people like, oh, LeBron James is the greatest athlete ever. And I actually believe that. You know, I think that, you know, Bo Jackson was like incredible and impressive, but I think as far as like greatest athlete ever, has to be LeBron. And I'm not even talking about winner, I'm just talking about what a basketball player has to do to their body. And what LeBron has had to do with his body, considering the amount of mileage he's got on those legs is incredible. So it's like, okay, what? We're saying that this is the greatest physical specimen we've ever seen. It's like, yeah, we've ever seen. Because imagine this, there are entire sports, there are entire genres of art, sports, literature that we've never heard of. Those people lived and died. Those cultures lived and died. We have no idea. So there was some guy, like, you got to think about it, like, of all us Homo sapiens, somebody is like the ultimate like athlete, right? What are the odds that of all the, you know, I don't know, 80 billion people that have ever walked terra firma, that we actually found them in LeBron or Michael Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing I'm saying about history itself. It's like, yo, we don't know what we don't know. There could have been some insane sport similar to basketball with like a 13-foot hoop or something like that. We'll never know. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, when you start really looking into history, like I'm looking into, because I'm prepping for this debate, like, you really start being like, yo, there's not a lot of us that made it, man. Like, it's insane. It's insane. So, which made me even more, like, excited about my faith. Like, to understand that, hey, there are very few people that make the historical record. And so for Jesus and James the Just and Paul and John the Baptist, for these people mentioned in your Bible to be mentioned in history, that's huge. That's very, very huge. Like, we've got a historical faith. It's unbelievable. This song was great sonically. I really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I do this about 3 times a year. I'm actually going to give this an effing wow rating. There has never been a song, never has there been a song in the entire history of Vintage Story that's got an effing wow rating. That's how impressed I am with the transition from the horn to the guitar, or the trumpet to the guitar. That was incredible. And I'm sure, like, mathematically it makes perfect sense. Like, it's not that big of a deal on the sheet itself, but I just thought that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the track with this, the history of humanity is a graveyard of forgotten potential and realized dreams. Man, Kellen Dross with the wisdom. We got one more song, dear listener. And on top of how to best archive history and its participants, there are the biases of those who 100%. 100% controller relative to the biases, right? Like Josephus. Josephus is absorbed into the Flavian dynasty. These are Romans. He was a general, high up guy in the Jewish military. He defects, expatriates, and joins up with the Romans once he sees there's no way they're going to win, and then works to try to get the Jews to surrender so as to avoid the annihilation that was certain to happen. But obviously, when you see that the way that he writes, and you understand who he's writing to, then certain decisions that he makes with numbers, for example, make a whole bunch of sense. Like, makes a lot of sense as to why he phrases certain things a certain way. So, yeah. Really interesting stuff. All right, guys, we got one more song. Un mas. By the way, all you Middle Americans, let me know what you guys want us to talk about after this show, because I'm gonna do a Middle America show after this show. But this show is not over yet. We got one more song for you losers. You losers! All right, let's go. Intro song 3. Let's check it out. Check it out. When I first saw this, I thought that the name of the band was Dark Trash. Look at it. Darkestra is an incredible black and folk band hailing from the small country of Kyrgyzstan. I think I pronounced that properly. This pick comes from Prog Pro and is off their 4th album, The Great Silk Road. Wait a second. Is this another Prog Pro song? Is this another Do we have 2 Prog Pro songs today? Or did I get this intro wrong? Let me see. Prog Pro. Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, no. Okay, so it looks like Prog Pro's got 2 picks today. How do you rate? Prog Pro? How did you get your alliance to do that? All right. Well, good for you. All right, guys, here we go. Song 3. Song 3 for the big homie Prog Pro. He took care of his business, boy. All right. Cult Tengri. Shout out to Prog Pro. Let's do it, baby. Prog Pro in the house. Timestamp, let's go with 103 even, Benji. All right, guys, here we go. Interesting. It's a black metal band? Oh, what happened? Watch this drum pattern coming up. Kid loses his mind on this drum pattern. Watch this. Right here. Up that shit. I'm gonna steal that so much, bro. And they just goes right into that. Sounds like Mediterranean, almost Egyptian there. Doesn't it? Like Yoko? That was an amazing song. Caught you guys sleeping. Holy smokes. Man, the picks today were crazy. This Prague Pro kid. Bro knows what he's doing. Alright, Prague Pro. Don't like the name, but at least he didn't come at us with no weak sauce, prog bands or whatever. Like, he came with some, like, actual artists. So you can't judge a book by its cover, y'all. You can't, his name's Prague Pro, so he's going to have whack music. You got to give it a chance. I ain't going to lie. Like, as soon as I saw a name, I was like, oh, God, it's going to be trash. But bro got us 2 of the hardest songs of the night. You know what I'm saying? So you can't judge a book by its cover. What can you do? I don't condone Prague, but you can't penalize a guy for having a name because he brought it tonight. One of them songs got a wow rating. Didn't even get a hit my playlist type thing. All right, let's see what Shorty's talking about here. I was just in love with this song. We had some really, 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 really good selections tonight. It's kind of weird. But anyway. The pain burns in my conscience by a fresh, disturbed wound. Right out the gate. Very, very positive. Right out the gate. Proc Pro's a made guy. Be careful, Vinny. Yeah, I feel like we're going to have a lot of Goodfellas. I was hitting Mike up. Yes, I should have hit him up yesterday. Like, yo, that was a classic song. That was a classic. All right. The pain burns in my consciousness by a fresh, disturbed wound. Why is your shape, Khan Tengri, bewitched by gloomy fog, seeing your silhouette tone apart? Okay, so Khan, I'm thinking, is probably relative to Genghis Khan. I thought Khan isn't Khan like a titular term, like a king or something like that? So I think Khan is actually a title, not necessarily an actual name. So why is your shape, Khan Tengri, bewitched by a gloomy fog, seeing your silhouette torn apart? So Tengri, I'm assuming, is the name of this person. It's either the person's god or the person's leader or the person's boyfriend. I don't know. But what we do know is that Khan Tengri's form, shape, is being kind of subsumed into the fog and then gets torn apart. My heart is beating all the more strongly as if at a pillory. Wild villains beat the slave. Holy smokes. Tell me, ancient and mighty, how do you avoid burdensome light? What a set of lyrics. My heart is beating all the more strongly, as if at a pillory, wild villains beat the slave. That's talking about her heartbeat. Damn. That's hard lyrically, bro. That's like the scenic route, but that's hard lyrically. Holy shit. My heart is beating all the more strongly, as if at a pillory, wild villains beat the slave. Tell me, ancient and mighty, how do you avoid burdensome light? So she wants to stay in the night, I'm assuming, so that she can continue to dream, which, again, she's saying, tell me, ancient and mighty, and the only person that we've seen her talk to is Mr. Tengri, so that's why I said Khan Tengri might be like her god, or maybe her leader who has died, and this is how she's mourning her dead leader, right? Blackened by a wave of heavy clouds, how do you pass through 1,000 centuries? Why does your bottom poplar turn yellow before the autumn rain? Why is it so sad? I don't know anything about the poplar other than trees might represent this person. And I'm assuming that poplars turn yellow before in that particular season, but this tree is turning yellow beforehand, which is basically like premature. So I'm assuming that maybe this person died prematurely, right? Because the leaves are displaying themselves prematurely. You know, they're turning yellow before the season. So that looks to me like some form of like some form of that. You know what I'm saying? Why is it so sad? Open the secrets, two-humped top. Deep and long truthfulness. Free wind brings you to powerful screams. Free wind brings to you powerful screams from the beautiful valleys. Clouds are breaking off above you. It's splashing a surf of new life. Why is your shape contingry bewitched by a gloomy fog, seeing your silhouettes torn apart? Yeah, so it looks like I don't know what the two-hump top is, which is kind of interesting. Deep and long truthfulness. Free wind brings to you powerful screams from the beautiful valleys. I don't know if she's talking to the land itself now. Maybe Khan Tengri is actually talking about the land, because it says, deep and long truthfulness. Free wind brings to you powerful screams from the beautiful valleys. Clouds are breaking off above you. So if she's in the land, the clouds would be breaking, or if he is the land, the clouds would be breaking above him. It's splashing a surf of new life. Yeah, so they're either talking to their god, who is a king, or maybe it's talking about their homeland. Could be talking about their homeland. That kind of works. Maybe it's talking about their homeland and then the destruction of said homeland. Either way, I genuinely enjoyed it. I'm actually going to look this song up because I'm very, very curious as to actually what it means, and I want to see how close I got to, because this is very, very interesting. Between this and the other one for Song of the Night. I'm going to give this one a 9.4. It's actually a mountain in Kyrgyzstan. Okay. All right. See? There we go. That's good intel. So Khan Tengri is a mountain in Kyrgyzstan. Okay. So that kind of clears it up, because that's when we talk about like free wind brings to you powerful screams from the beautiful valleys. Clouds are breaking off above you. So that's why I was saying, like, this could be the land, and like you're now personifying the land because your land is being torn apart by either modernization or just general war. Gosh, I'm gonna give this one a 9.4. Nah, I still gotta give my WoW rating to the other Prog Pro song. Prog Pro, man, you did your thing today, man. This was your night, for sure. Like, I had to struggle about which one of your songs to make Song of the Night. So, shout out to Prog Pro. And thank you, man, for not, showing up with some weak-ass, prog band or something like that. It's basically about their homeland. The whole album, I suspect, since it's called The Great Silk Road. That would make a lot of sense. Musically, it's a 9. Vocally, a negative. Vocally, it's a negative infinity. All right, I'm gonna close out this show. Middle Americans, if you're on the Middle America side, stay where you are. I'm gonna shoot at Middle America. Everybody else, much love to all you beautiful people. All you people on Vin and Sorry Land, much love to all you beautiful people. If you want to keep chilling, you can come check us out at the after party at the on the Middle America side. On the Middle America side, dear listener, I will see you beautiful people later. I'm going to be in Middle America. Goodbye. All right, Middle Americans, you who are still around, what y'all want to talk about now? Maybe I should I'm going to kill this stream and then start another one, and we can do Middle America.